After losing his parents and being sold into slavery, we watch a young Kenshin traveling with a caravan. And even though he only knew them for a few days, they became the only people that cared for him. Suddenly, the caravan falls victim to an absolutely brutal attack by bandits. The bandits brutally slaughter the slave traders one by one. Kenshin, in desperation, picks up a sword to protect his new caretakers, but he's just a child, and is instead shielded by the women. Kenshin's eyes widen in horror and disbelief as he's forced to watch the slaughter of the last remaining people he cared for. He's given final words by one of the women shielding him, telling him to live for the sake of those who couldn't, right before she's impaled with a sword through the throat. And before the bandits are able to turn their swords to Kenshin, he's saved by his soon-to-be master, who eventually teaches him how to wield a sword. And that's the opening scene for Samurai X Trust and Betrayal. Now, if you already know what Samurai X Trust and Betrayal is, I tip my hat to you. You are a person of culture, because not much people know about this anime. But if you don't know, Samurai X is a 4-episode OVA that serves as a prequel to the Rurouni Kenshin series. It fleshes out Kenshin's dark past as the ruthless killer but Tosai manslayer, before he became a wanderer, vowing to never take another life again. The opening scene perfectly sets the tone of the OVA by hitting you in the face with the harsh and cruel realities of the world. And the thing is, it's not only cruel and physically brutal, but psychologically effective as well, tackling issues like trauma and PTSD. And I'm sure you noticed by now that Trust and Betrayal doesn't shy away from violence and has a very dark and somber vibe to it, which is a completely different tone and vibe compared to the anime it's based off of. Rurouni Kenshin, the series, has a much more lighthearted, comedic vibe to it, being filled with humor and the use of brighter colors. After learning to wield a sword, the series follows Kenshin as he takes part of the Bakumatsu Revolution as a hired assassin to overthrow the Tokugawa shogunate, which pretty much was a military government that ruled Japan from 1603 to 1868. Kenshin believed the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate to be oppressive and wanted to create a better future for the people of Japan. It's here where we see Kenshin carry out a number of assassination missions, killing shogunate officials and bodyguards. And man, is he good at his job. But despite his genuine desire to protect the people of Japan and make it a better place, Kenshin's role as an assassin begins to take a toll on him. Because even though he feels like he's fighting for a just cause, he's still haunted by the lives he's taken. Each life he takes, Kenshin is filled with guilt, thus making him become more emotionally numb and cold. And if you haven't noticed by now, the fight scenes in Trust and Betrayal are beautifully animated and extremely brutal. And one of my favorite fight scenes would have to be the fight between Kenshin and Saito and Okita from the Shinsengumi. Look at how fluid and well choreographed the fight is. Each sword swing is swift and precise, but at the same time not super flashy, which gives it a realistic feel. And what sets Trust and Betrayal apart from most action anime is the fight scenes aren't really drawn out. Each encounter is quick and decisive. There's no warm-ups, no flashy techniques, or drawn-out monologues. Most of the fights last no longer than a minute. And because the fights are so short, it gives us more time to focus on the characters and progress the story. The focal point of Trust and Betrayal is the development of Kenshin's character and his internal struggles dealing with the guilt of the lives he's taken, and the complex relationship between him and Tomoe. Tomoe was the soon-to-be wife of a man that Kenshin killed on a mission. After crossing paths, her initial intention was to seek revenge on Kenshin, but after spending so much time with him and experiencing his softer side, Tomoe eventually develops romantic feelings for Kenshin. Which I gotta say is pretty wild. Imagine your boyfriend or girlfriend falling in love with the person who murdered you in cold blood. Call me petty, but I'd for sure be haunting my girlfriend from the grave if she did that to me. Tomoe plays a pivotal role in Kenshin's life and shaped him into the character that we know today. It's through Tomoe that Kenshin begins to open up and question his actions and starts to see his victims as individuals with their own lives and not just obstacles to reach his goal, eventually vowing that once his mission is complete, he'll atone for his actions and find a way to better humanity without needing to kill. And as much as I love the fight scenes, the best parts of the OVA are the moments we get to see between Kenshin and Tomoe. Like watching them do simple things like gardening, eating together, and traveling to town to sell medicine. I found these scenes so calming and peaceful to watch, which served as a great contrast to the dark and gruesome fight scenes. Throughout the OVA, we see Kenshin undergo so many different transformations. We watch him go from an innocent young child to a cold, ruthless killer, to a compassionate protector, to a burdened survivor filled with regret. Trust and Betrayal does an amazing job shedding light on all these aspects of Kenshin and providing context to the series it's based on. Alright, now lastly, I gotta talk about the backgrounds. The backgrounds in Trust and Betrayal are truly breathtaking and really complements its storytelling. Everything down from the architecture to the natural beauty of the landscapes down to the clothes that the characters are wearing, it perfectly sets the mood for each scene. I mean, just look at the attention to detail in some of these shots. It really does a great job immersing you in Japan during the late Edo period. The night scenes where most of the fights take place are hauntingly beautiful with the use of the moonlight, shadows, rain, and fireflies. The best way I could put it is that the backgrounds are more than just a passive setting, they're a living, breathing part of the story. Trust and Betrayal does something that we rarely see anymore. It manages to be tragic, dark, and violent, but at the same time peaceful and beautiful. And I find it crazy how this OVA rarely gets talked about, and honestly I have no idea why. Besides the author of Rurouni Kenshin turning out to be pretty much a genuinely terrible person after being found guilty of a certain crime. Look it up if you haven't. But separating the art from the artist, the OVA has everything. A great story, great animation and art style, and great fight scenes. The only other thing I could think of is that maybe because it's not legally streaming anywhere. And the only way you could watch it legally is buying the DVD or Blu-ray on Amazon or eBay. Maybe one day it'll get picked up by a major streaming service, but honestly I don't see that happening. Which is actually pretty sad to see because this is really a hidden gem and I wish more people would check it out. But that's all for now guys. Please, if you made it this far, hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.